friends. Welcome back. I got my bestie over here, Kim Howerton. We're just gonna have a little chat with you guys, answer coaching questions. Actually, we're just gonna chat. It's
Yeah.
we're gonna have fun over here. Sorry we're a little late, as usual. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
That just
Usually me.
happens on this
Usually
channel.
me with the technical difficulties.
I don't know if it was you because I was making a Loom video and my microphone wasn't working
Okay.
for that. So I don't know. I got this new MacBook, and the settings when you get one, you got to make. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might have messed something up. Anyways, hey, how you doing, guys? Happy
Hey.
Thanksgiving
Hey, everybody.
week.
It is Thanksgiving week. I'm already confused.
Me too. Look what I got in the mail today, you guys. Is it going to be backwards? I don't know. Yes, it's backwards, but this is the hard copy of mine and Kim's holiday cookbook, and I'm just so proud of it. I love it so much. It looks so good. This is the first time I'm seeing it in person. Kim had one, but I didn't have one, and it just looks
I
so
have a
nice.
proof, so it's not even as fancy as yours, but because it's got the
Oh,
little not for resale across it.
oh, very nice. But yeah, how cool is that? I'm gonna slip it into a Barnes and Noble and pretend that it's for sale there. Oh my
Somebody will try and
God,
buy it, and they'll be like, "We don't have a SKU. We don't know what's going on."
oh well, it's fine. Just take it. Oh gosh. Anyways, so what are we gonna talk about today, Kim? You got anything you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I thought it. Oh, wow, that was really sharp in my ear. My own voice hurt my ear. Sometimes that happens. Anyway, I think the holidays are a great topic, at least to start a conversation around, especially like maybe in terms of how we work with people around the holidays and like how are people's goals around the holidays and yeah, like how's the community around the holidays, right? Like
Yeah.
what do we experience from people? And I know when I work with people through this season, it can be a confusing navigation time, I think.
Especially if you're new
Yeah.
to this way of eating. This is your first holiday season where you're trying to stay away from the bad stuff. If you're
Yeah.
a dietitian, we're not allowed to call it bad stuff, but here on this channel, it's the bad
The
stuff.
less useful, less goal-oriented foods.
Less nutritionally dense foods. I guess that's the PC way. Junk food, basically. You're trying to stay
Yeah.
away from the junk food and trying to do better about staying on your health plan because it's even though it's the holiday season, like diabetes doesn't take a day off. Metabolic disorders
No.
don't care if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, fill in the blank. You still have these issues going on with your health. So you need to set personal boundaries. We talked about that in the community. If you're in the PhD community, you have already
Mhm.
set those boundaries, I hope, for yourself before this week came about. So, what do you tell your clients about setting boundaries during the holidays?
Well, it's interesting. There's actually a long range study done on people about going like holidays and because this is the time of year from basically Halloween through New Year's is when most people in the world, or rather, I should say, most people in America, in the United States, we are not the whole world, is, although I don't know that it's that different in other places, but gain the most weight.
Mhm.
This 3 month or 2 month period is when Americans on average gain the most weight they're going to gain all year. And so what they found in studying people who successfully lost weight and kept it off was that they went into parties, events, gatherings, holidays with a plan.
Mhm.
It actually mattered less what the plan was than that they had a plan. Because some people might be like, on Thanksgiving, I'll let myself have one slice of pie, or
Mhm.
I'll. It mattered less that they followed exactly one plan, but that they were making all their decisions consciously,
Mhm.
and they made a plan and then stuck to that plan, ever that plan happened to look like.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we talked about so I use the traffic light method.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, pick now what your red foods are ahead of time before you get to the party. So you're like, oh no, that's red, but this food may be yellow, meaning like I can have a little bit of this, one piece of pie or one dinner roll or whatever. But the caveat there is like, are you being honest?
Right.
Can you have one dinner roll?
Right. And that's part of the plan, right? You have
Right.
to ask yourself in the planning phase, is this a trigger food for me to like go rolling down the hill of mashed potatoes, or is this something I can manage?
Right. And some yellow foods may not cause you like weight gain, but may cause you other problems, like Kim said, like triggering you to want to eat more of something or a different, like now instead of just one piece of pie, now you're going to have two pieces of pie with ice cream. And then also the Chex Mix and the Stackety Snacks. And then tomorrow you're buying things at the grocery store that you weren't before. And
right. It opens
knowing,
a door. Yeah.
yeah. So knowing yourself and whether or not the mashed potatoes is going to actually affect you, that matters a lot too, because I could eat mashed potatoes today and be fine. That's not a trigger food. Doritos and Chex Mix for me, there is no bottom until there is a bottom and there's nothing left. So I have to really be aware of that. And that's not necessarily because something bad is going to happen immediately, but I know in a few days that's going to catch up with me too.
Right.
And
Because
it's
I
not
think for
just
a lot of
about
people,
weight.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I apologize. We have talk. I have talk over people issues. I shouldn't. Neisha is more polite than me. I think that, and also like they bring friends, right? It's not just oh well, I ate the whole bag of Doritos and I didn't stop until I got the bottom. It's like, well, now that I've had Doritos, I might as well have a full sugar pop and a this and a that and a,
Yeah.
and but I think the most for me, you might disagree. I think one of the most critical thoughts that people get when they eat off plan, see, that's we'll call it off plan, right? Like not good, bad, off plan. When they eat off plan is that they moralize it. They have judgment about themselves about it. They feel like they've been bad in a way that then, like, they then start to almost punish themselves with the bad food.
I don't have that experience, but I know that like other people do. So I'm empathetic. No, I'm sympathetic to that, but I can't like I've never done that to myself. I
You've
just
never
don't
done that, yeah.
I don't have a I hate myself for other reasons. I self-harm in other ways. But yeah, you're right. I think also that some people are just like, well, I fell off the wagon, like you said. Now it's like, well, forget it. I've already lost. I've failed. So whatever, might as well eat whatever I want. And then they're playing catch up on January 1st because there's a magical thing that happens on January 1st.
Everything's new.
Yeah, that's totally irrelevant. January 1st, just another day. You can hop back on the wagon immediately. You don't even have to wait till you have a sleep. You can do it right then and be like, all right, I'm done for today and I'm gonna get back to it tonight. I'm just gonna eat the turkey or whatever, fill in the blank meat. You don't have to do this whole song and dance of like fasting for 24 hours or taking a detox supplement or like whatever. Just get back to what you were doing. It's totally fine. And nobody knows that you did it probably except for you. So yeah, give yourself grace. And if you do have a flub up, like you're not starting over, you're starting from experience every single time you fall off the wagon. Nobody does this perfectly 365 days a year. 365 days a year straight out of the gate. Now, some people are more consistent than others, but like nobody's perfect. Not even Dr.
Right.
Barry.
And I think the other thing, and this is maybe a controversial take, I'll just say it because why not? I actually think that what is so great about keto is that it limits certain foods that don't work for you, but that also can be a huge downfall when you fall off the wagon because you can mentally make that I ate a non-keto food mean more than it does to your body, if that makes sense, right? Like it can, because sometimes people get black and white thinking, going.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're not like, if you don't have a list of foods you don't tend to eat, then if you ate one of those foods, well, you haven't violated a rule. But kind of when you have yes and no foods, if you eat one of those foods in your brain, if you're kind of stuck in a little bit of like rigid thinking, you can then think I've ruined everything because I broke the law. And
Yeah.
and so
And I think that's
understanding,
just, like, ridiculous. That comes from the labels, I think, like, you can't have
yeah, oh
potatoes
yeah,
because 'cause they're not
totally,
keto. Well,
right,
if you think you can handle the potatoes, it doesn't matter if they're keto or they're not keto. It matters, like, are you okay with that? Is your body okay with that? And for the most part, most foods, if you eat them one time, once a year, or even twice a year, that's not the thing that's gonna ruin your life or
right,
your health. It's consistency. And so in January, we're doing a challenge in the community. It's the consistency challenge. And I make everybody print off a calendar. And for every day they stick to their plan, their boundaries, not mine. I don't set the rules. They make their own rules
right,
so that they
right,
are realistic about their goals. Like if I set goals for you, who knows if you're going to be able to stick to those? Because I don't know you. I'm not doing a one on one call. I just met you probably in the community. Set your own rules, and every day you stick to those, you get a green color. And if you flub up, you get a red color. And at the end of the month, there needs to be more green than red. And that's how you know if you're being consistent or if you're not being consistent. Because if you're not taking those things daily into account, you can lie to yourself and you will lie to yourself.
sure,
So that's better than a food diary because that can become a real hassle for people writing down every single thing that they eat, their macros. But if they're like, did I stick to my own rules today, red or green? Like they can do that. And you could do that any month. You don't have to wait till January. You can do it now. It's a
right,
printable calendar. You can
absolutely.
find one on Google.
You could just print it. You got
Yeah.
it. You can draw it if you really want to. I remember being a kid before you could print these things, and I would draw calendars because you
Yeah.
just need a ruler.
You could do
Um,
it for free. Everybody's got paper in their house probably.
anyway, but yeah, and I think, when I first was keto, gosh, like decade ago, when I first went, not quite close, when I first went
Close.
keto, I'm like 8 years. A decade is only 10. Close, yeah.
Mhm.
When I first went keto, I remember like the first 2 years through the holidays, I was like, I put my little blinders on, I eat my little foods. Like I would go to other people's houses. I would bring like 4 keto dishes with me. I'd have my little Tupperwares because that was the plan that I felt like would keep me on the path. And I was a 41-year-old woman who had a lot of experience getting off the path, but not a lot of experience staying on the path. And so for me, in that lead up to the holidays, having to make those decisions, I said, like, I don't have a consistent experience in my life of staying on a plan. My only life experience is of giving up on myself. And so I felt like because it was real deep, I needed a long time of staying on the path, not because going off the path would do anything, except it would tell me, see, you always fall off the path. And I needed to know I could stick to something.
Mhm.
And so I was real strict with myself. And then a couple years later, I was like, I believe in myself, I trust myself, and it no longer became so important that I had never deviated because I knew how to do it and I knew I could always do it. And so it was easier to step off because I was like, oh, I know the path is real solid. It's like a concrete path. I like always have in my head, like, those pictures of people like go like climbing a mountain and they're walking on like a really narrow path. And if they step on either side, they're like tumbling down the mountain and falling into an ice crevasse. And,
Yeah, the
that
parapet.
so, like, that's the kind of path I felt like I was living on at the beginning, and then eventually I was like, "My path is like a meadow. Like, it's wide, it's paved, you can get off it, you can get on it, it's okay." But you have to learn to trust you if you're somebody that didn't trust yourself, the process of learning to believe in yourself and trust yourself and, like, stick to your commitments is actually what I ultimately think is the real long-term win Not like, did I eat sugar or did I not eat sugar? I mean, there's issues with sugar, but like it's not, the commitment was the thing I was keeping, not keto.
Yeah, and I think the book Atomic Habits, you need to read it. This is all eating healthy is you're relearning a habit that you would have naturally had if you didn't have all the things at the grocery store at your disposal. You wouldn't even have those choices. If all that stuff disappeared tomorrow, you wouldn't be able to eat it and your life would be better for it. But it's there, it's tempting. It's hard to give it up once you've eaten it for decades, like most people have at this point. But if you just think of it as a habit instead of a diet, like you're just relearning how to eat healthy. This is not, I mean, if you're doing carnivore, yeah, it's kind of extreme. But if you're just trying to eat low carb, whole foods, and you can throw the keto label on it if you want to, but you don't have to, because taking a step in that direction, that's an easy habit. If you just be honest with yourself about the fact that you have a bad habit, like you don't, if you're trying to quit smoking, you're breaking a habit. If you're trying to quit eating addictive foods, you're breaking a habit. Right. You're setting up new habits. If you haven't read that book, please, for the love of all that,
I love everything about that book.
I think it's free on Kindle Unlimited.
Is it?
I think it got added on there because it's been out for a long time.
Okay. It's been out for a while. Yeah, I love every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. That's one of the quotes from that book, I think. And it's so important. And yeah, I mean, how many people out there are making Doritos, right? If Doritos fell off the face of the planet, no one. So there, the trad wife thing that's going around, all these trad wives, they're making homemade goldfish and people are like, ha, ha, ha. No, the fact that that is hilarious and you think it's hilarious and that she's crazy. Why aren't you putting two and two together and being like, oh, it's incredibly hard to remake that when you don't have a factory to do it. Right. Maybe I shouldn't eat something like that. Right.
I find it funny that people think that her putting the effort in is the funny part. And it's like, the whole point here is like, it would take a lot for you to make homemade goldfish or homemade Oreo cookies or homemade whatever, because they're not real food. You can make chocolate chip cookies, but you can't make Oreos.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. An interesting thing about goldfish crackers. Do you follow a guy on Instagram called Ask the Dentist? His name starts with last name starts with a B. Anyway, he's kind of like a newfangled dentist, very into non-fluoride, sleep treatment for grinding. He's very you would like him. Anyway, but he does a list of the worst foods for cavities for kids, and his top one is goldfish crackers. That there's, because they're sticky, right? Yeah. That they put a little film on the teeth, worse than sugar, and so it's like a mask on the tooth to rot it. So I'm like, oh, they're worse than we think. They're bad for every part of your health.
I mean, anything that comes in a package that you can't make at home very easily, you should be wary of. I feel like that's just kind of obvious, but we've walked through these grocery stores for so long and they're just so easy to pick up that we don't even question how it was made or what is in it or why the ingredients list is 5 pages long. But just start there. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with the rules and we gotta eat keto or carnivore or whatever. Just stop eating trash. Just stop doing that. And I don't care if you have an apple, the apple probably didn't get you diabetes. Just take that first step in the whole foods direction and life will be better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it's most important, like we said, getting into your plan, knowing your plan for the holidays, knowing, where you're setting your boundaries. Are you what did you call it? The little teeny path on the top of the mountain?
Parapet.
A parapet. Are you a parapet walker, or are you my path is wide and I can bring the whole family, right? On an afternoon walk. knowing where you have to set those boundaries for your path, I think if you go into the holidays with that, and so I work with my clients on deciding that and also deciding their like headspace, right? Like, is this a season you're expecting weight loss, or is this a season you're like happy with maintaining your weight if they're in their weight loss phase, right? Knowing going into that, because I don't know if, because I mostly work with people who want to lose weight, right? Not just like get healthy, yes, but also lose weight. And for my weight loss clients, when we talk about it, one of the things I see happening a lot is they get on the scale and they're mad at themselves because they didn't lose weight during a time in which weight loss wasn't a priority for them. And I'm like,
Mhm.
wait, but then you were trying to maintain and now you're mad at yourself. The scale didn't go down. So, getting in
Yeah.
alignment with your goals as well. So your plan matches your goals, which matches your actions.
Mhm. Exactly. That's just like many people go on cruises and then gain weight, but we didn't. You didn't, did you?
Mm-mm,
Because,
mm-mm.
well, like, you set your own boundaries, and so you were able to,
Right,
like, enjoy the cruise, eat really good food, but not come off of it
right.
feeling worse.
And I'll say, so for you guys who don't know, like I eat at the higher carb end of the proper human diet, but I still, I'm on the proper human diet. Um, and and so like my food flexibility is much bigger than it was when I ate at the very low carb end, right? And so, but I still have to make decisions, anywhere along around what are my orange foods or, you know, sometimes it's a quantity, right? Like on a special occasion, it's like, okay, I'm okay eating in my red food zone, the foods I don't eat. I guess you would probably call that orange then, right? But
I
like,
call that orange, yeah. Yellow is, like,
okay.
can eat sometimes, orange is, like,
Oh, got it.
if I ate it more than once or twice a year, that would be a real issue, and red
Okay.
is,
So,
like, it's
so then
obviously gonna
orange,
cause me a problem, I'm just being stupid if I eat this food.
right. I will be ill.
Yes.
So yeah. Yeah. So, I have orange foods that I'll eat with, but I have like around my orange foods, I have rules. Like I'll eat it at a holiday, I'll eat it at somebody's house, I'll eat it in a restaurant, but I don't bring it into my house, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I did that on the cruise. And on the cruise, I had many more orange foods than I might have at home. But, I would see some more, not many. Because what I would see is like I would go and get one of something because I wanted to try it. I
Mhm.
would take a bite of it, realize it was not that good. Because that's the sad part about many cruise foods. They're not as
It's
good as they
not
look.
that good, yeah.
And then I would look around me and see people having four. And I'd be
Mhm.
like, okay, I still am exerting boundaries on my
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah, exactly. And it is all about setting your own boundaries and knowing what works for you and knowing when you're ready to take the next step. Because, like Kim said, that next step might be that you can introduce different carbs back in. Like, Kim, how much weight have you lost now?
About 120 pounds.
Right. And you're eating higher carb now than you were when you first started. So, like, taking
When
that
I,
next
yeah,
step looks different for everyone. But obviously,
for sure.
I had several comments on the last video that you and I did together that were like, "I haven't seen Kim in forever. She looks amazing." I was like, "I know, doesn't she?" So obviously, she's doing what works for her, and it is indeed working. Does that
Yeah.
mean everybody needs to do what Kim is doing? No, but Kim could help you probably figure that out. Are you running anything right now? Are you doing any
I'm
group
not, I have a
coaching?
membership that's like a weekly group call, like a small group. It's where everyone talks and we talk to each
Mhm.
other. And, but in January, I'm going to do a like figure out your weight loss kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's called Keto Unstuck. And so that'll be in January. And so people can email me if they want information about it, kim@kimhowerton.com
So
or
easy
my
to
website.
remember Kim's email. Somebody
Really
asked
is.
what
That's my name.
supplements I take. I just got these in the mail. I saw some
Okay.
promos for them. They're Primal Queen. And
Hmm.
so they are formulated for women, obviously. That's I mean, I guess whatever, they're for women. It's got bovine uterus, bovine ovary, bovine liver, bovine kidney, and bovine heart. And like I've seen so many people rave about this, and I just thought it would be fun to try it for a month and see how I feel. I do have a discount code somewhere. So if you are in the group and you want to try these with me, feel free to reach out. But you only have to take one of these. And ancestral supplements, I think it's like 6 is what they
I
recommend.
think I was turned off by how many I was gonna have to take.
It was a lot, which ancestral supplements, very high quality, very good, but I don't know that everybody needs to take 6. I think that's a high recommendation probably, but this is 1 with every meal, 2 daily. So 2 a day, which is a lot less. So I'm going to give those a try, but I take iodine. I do a lot of salt and electrolytes and vitamin D3, K2. Do you take any supplements now, Kim?
I do. I actually take quite a few at this point because I check my blood work and I see what I need. So I take D3K2. I take omega 3s. So like fish from good, Nordic naturals, because the reason I take the omega 3s is there's a lot of evidence that you need omega 3s in your diet, and I don't like fish. And so I was like, I got to take these. If you eat a lot of fish, you don't need to take
sardines, anchovies, those count as fish, guys.
Absolutely. So, great. Yeah. So little fish, big fish, whatever, you need your omega 3s, but that's why I take them in pill form. I try. I know I'm a baby, and Ken, Dr. Ken is like, grow up, and I'm like, no,
say that because he has no taste buds. Okay, the man, he doesn't cook. He doesn't know what. He ruins so many of my recipes because he just throws everything in the refrigerator, and there's like ground beef and steak and eggs, and like it's just a big pot of protein. That's not cooking.
Yeah,
okay, that's just being a bachelor when you don't have to. Don't really know.
Yeah. And then I take iron, because for some reason I am not a good absorber of iron. I eat red meat every day, and my iron levels are still lower than I want them to be. So that's a specific one, just because I have a problem with iron. And I take
liver capsules, or have you tried taking liver? Did that ever
sometimes I do liver capsules. And so I'll switch back and forth. I just like to change it up every once in a while. So sometimes I'll take a chewable iron.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll take liver, because liver is a great source of iron. And then maybe I don't take that many. I take creatine because I'm old and it's good for your brain.
You just called so many people old, so I hope you're ready for the repercussions in the comments.
I'm older than Neisha, not that I'm actually old, but I am old enough that I am needing to make sure that my brain ages well. I'll say it that way. So I mean, that's pretty much what I take. Oh, and magnesium. I take a lot, and lots of salt and magnesium.
Yeah. I find I definitely need way more salt and magnesium than I need of potassium. I've never supplemented potassium. And I think most people don't need to supplement potassium, honestly. It's usually salt or magnesium that they are needing more of. I like the daily mineral drops, but they still don't have quite as much magnesium as it. So I use, what is it? That it's got Calm. I like Calm.
Oh yeah, that's got magnesium.
I was pregnant, and it tastes really good, and I think it's sweetened with stevia. There's probably maltodextrin in there, probably, but like I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not a big. I'm not worried about a little bit of something, quite honestly. Like when I was first keto, I was such a purist about it, and in the
I think I was too. We all were. We were like, oh my god.
Oh no, it's got a high glycemic index. But it's like, okay, quantity matters. Quantity matters. And and if something makes your life easier to include it, and the downsides are small of a product, that's great. Now there are some products where the downside is large, and so you have to weigh your options. But where
are you willing to like give a little? Because I'm willing to give a little in a lot of areas. In a lot of areas, I'm not giving a little, but I'm not giving any. But God, we need. Stress also causes health problems. So if you're worried about every little thing, then I don't know what you're going to do. Are you going to move to Alaska and live in a house that you build with your own hands and don't have cellular devices and like nothing? No, you're not going to do that. So just like be aware that You live in a world where it's impossible to actually be a purist at all.
Now, if you love your life and you think you're doing things perfectly and it's not stressing you out to be whatever level of purist you try to live, like that is perfection. Your life is good. You are happy. That is fine.
Yeah,
I
but
think
I have news
though,
for you. If you think that applies to you, what Kim said, but you've been on the internet commenting angry things on people's posts, then that actually does apply to you because that's stress.
right.
Letting
If
things
you're
go.
telling other people what to do and telling them they're doing it wrong, you are causing other people stress. So you yourself are a toxic element. So that, I mean, I'm sorry, that's harsh and we can all change. I was awful once in my life, like not once, like for a period, I was the keto police,
Yeah.
but it's toxic.
Yeah, it's just like take your health control and do that. But like don't worry about anybody else unless they're asking for your opinion, then yeah.
Right.
Pipe in there. But like I think people take too much ownership on other people, and we could go down this rabbit hole of parasocial relationships and all of that. But like be aware of stress that you think is not stress, but your body deems stress. There's good stress, there's bad stress, and there's normal stress that is just like healthy stress. Like when you get up out of the bed and you put yourself in a cold shower, that is stress, but some people think that is positive stress. Like all stress is not created equal, but
absolutely,
you need to consider those type of things if you're really wanting to manage all of your health factors. Because listen, I'm the queen of being a petty person, all right? But I've improved that, and I do not care what anybody else does now. Oh, Alyssa. Alyssa was going to be on this live stream today, but she is having to do other things. But she is in the comments. New favorite response to someone: you are a toxic element. I think that may be the quote of the hour, Kim. Well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Good job. Yeah. All right. I'll take it. Thank you.
Put it on a t-shirt. Angela also does not like fish.
It's not uncommon that people don't like fish.
I love fish for sure. I love anchovies, but I don't like sardines, so I get my omegas. But I could probably use an omega-3 supplement too. What brand is it that you use?
Nordic Naturals.
Nordic Natural. Write that down, everyone.
It's just basically fish oil in there, but they do something good with because I don't like the fish burps. And some omega-3 supplements give you the fish burps, which you're like, if I don't like the taste of fish, that's not going to help. So, but the Nordic Naturals, you don't get the burpees.
Okay. And so it doesn't get rancid because that's a lot of people is like if
I keep it in the fridge.
Oh, okay. So it's in the refrigerated section. Good too.
I ordered it on Amazon. It doesn't come refrigerated.
But
there might be a refrigerated version, but it's a good company. So the stuff you're getting sent is new. It's not been sitting on the shelves for a long time. And then I just keep it in the fridge to kind of extend that, because sometimes you forget to take your vitamins for a while and then they've been sitting. And if they're in the fridge, they're not going rancid as you're letting them sit in your cabinet.
I love to buy supplements and never take them. That's my favorite hobby.
I love that. I also like to buy organizers for them, and then no, that's not right. Let me get a new organizer that'll make me take them.
Yeah, it's always just buy something to make me do the thing that I'm not doing.
Right, like a new calendar, a new
planner,
to-do list maker. Yeah,
I love treadmill to hang your clothes on. Listen, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're not going to use the treadmill that you're purchasing on Black Friday. You're not going to do it. No. Just go walk outside. And if you walk outside for 3 months in a row, then you get to buy the treadmill. That's how you save money. And that is how you get healthier, because by the end of those 3 months, you're going to be like, I don't actually need that treadmill. I'm walking outside. Look at me. I've done it 3 months in a row. I promise you.
I kind of think unless you live in like North Dakota, where it snows so bad you cannot go outside for like half the year, like then maybe those.
Then you get a pass, but then you better freaking use it.
Right. For sure.
I say this from experience. I bought a Peloton back in 2020, and I was gonna really do something on it. To be fair, I had just had a baby. I should probably have gotten like something that you didn't have to sit on.
Oh, wow.
That was, I just had Beckett, so that was a dumb purchase. But like, people are out to get your money this holiday season. You don't need the treadmill. Buy half of a cow.
Yeah.
Split a cow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and going
Terry
outside is
Sue.
good for you.
Yes, it's so good for you. Me and the kids went and played outside, and it was 40 degrees this morning, and they didn't care. And so I decided that I shouldn't care either. These are not that big. A lot of the supplements are gigantic capsules. I don't understand. No one wants to take that. And they don't.
No, and it is true. I will say the Nordic Naturals are pretty big.
Oh my gosh, these smell like peppermint. I read on the website that they have like a little heart in them that and the heart keeps them from stinking because the ancestral
nice. It's a little like peppermint sachet.
Oh wow. Well, that's nice. That's a nice little surprise. So those of you who are put off by stinky supplements, Primal Queen smell
They
like
can be real
peppermint.
stinky. Yeah, and if you don't like, so apparently cod liver, right? I know Ken eats cod liver, right?
Yeah.
So if you have trouble swallowing, cod liver is very high in omega-3s, and apparently it doesn't taste as fishy as I always imagine it's going to taste. Have you tried it?
No, I can't. It looks disgusting.
Maybe you could put it in something. Anyway, but so if you can't swallow big pills, then there are some alternatives, and including, changing your diet and adding things into things in ways that are disguised, eating liver. There are ways you can get your nutrients without having to swallow a big pill. I haven't tried it, but there are some liquid vitamins out there too that some people swear by.
Yeah. Meta says gym memberships also apparently have to go and exercise to get any benefits. Yeah. Betsy says, what about the mirror? So I have the exercise mirror, so it plays your stuff and you can see yourself. And I have used that more than anything else I've purchased, way more than the Peloton. And I still have the Peloton. It's in my mom's basement where she said she was going to use it and also does not use it. So I do love it. And Beckett absolutely loves, we call it the magic mirror. And it also substitutes as a full-length mirror. So it's not a complete waste, even if I'm not using it, because I use it to look at my outfit and all that good stuff. Ellie wants to know, what potassium do you take? They have a couple kinds. Thank you. Again, I don't see a lot of people needing to supplement potassium that much, just potassium. What about you?
So I don't, and one of the things about potassium supplements is I think they're kind of a big ripoff, because there's a law in the United States that no potassium supplement can have more than 99 milligrams, and like the RDA is like 4,000, or if for some almost close to 5,000. And so it's like a drop in the potassium bucket. And so I don't recommend any potassium supplements. If you do legit need potassium, then there are very high potassium foods, including drinking the cooking broth from, like, if you cook a steak or a piece of meat. Pork is actually very high in potassium, and the drippings from that meat there's a lot. Some of the potassium leaches out of the meat as you cook it, which is why actually you get more potassium in a more rare piece of meat than a more well-cooked piece of meat. But if you pour the drippings over the meat, you get them back. So meat is a great source of potassium. And then certain vegetables, very high in potassium. And even some fruits are very high in potassium. And so you can do some research and find the foods that are high in potassium. That's much better. I mean, that's true of all supplements. It's meant to supplement, right? So food is the base. And so if you know you're a high potassium girly, then you want to eat high potassium foods.
Bacon grease, just put it on everything, okay? I literally I cook my eggs in it. I put it in my deviled eggs, the yolks. I have like 4 tablespoons of bacon grease for a dozen eggs. Just everything. I eat it like people eat butter, sticks of butter. You see Bella and all them, they're eating cold. I'm eating the bacon grease, and I think it's got more nutrition in it myself. I'm team bacon grease. Alyssa said Chris Bear did a fantastic presentation on minerals and potassium, which are actually hard to find ancestrally. Being connected to the earth actually helps with potassium being used and circulation. Most people just need to go touch some grass. Well, it's getting cold outside, Alyssa.
You Texans, anyway. The other thing is that the recommendations for potassium are so high because potassium and sodium oppose each other, right? So if somebody has a problem retaining, like they're retaining too much sodium because they have high insulin and their body is not you're not peeing out your sodium, your kidneys are recycling it. So somebody on a high carb diet who's not handling it well with high insulin, giving them a lot of potassium or a high potassium recommendation can offset the damage of that sodium cycle. But when you take the plug out of the, you release the drain because you lower the insulin, so your body starts dumping sodium, then, if there's a question mark if you need quite that high a potassium level.
Yeah, avocados have potassium in them. Bacon has more, and it's meat. And it doesn't go bad while it's sitting there while you wait on it to get good. That's why I buy pre-made guacamole now. Yeah, I got tired of avocados are not cheap.
It was funny. I saw this woman who moved from Tennessee to California, and she was like, the most amazing thing is that the avocados are good. Avocados don't ship well as you think they do. You got to live in a place where they have them.
Yeah, they're either hard as a rock or brown. And I just I can't.
I'm sorry.
Waste my money on an avocado when I can buy the pre-made guacamole and it's fairly good. And I don't eat guacamole
and it's
often,
consistent.
So. It is. I just can't take it. I get so angry. Freaking avocados. Oh, I did something. Okay. If you have any questions, type them in the comments.
I saw one. Where was it? Oh, Amy said at 12:33. Retired thinking about coaching since low carb has reclaimed my health. So, I think that is a fabulous idea. When you're thinking about coaching, Neisha is the queen of this, but the first thing I think is important to consider is how will people know about you and what will they know about you? Neisha, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Amy, you said? Is that
Amy.
Amy, there she is. I found her. Yes. So, what is your goal with coaching? Is it just to spread knowledge and be a good citizen, or are you wanting to retire and have a side gig as a health coach and actually get paid? That is a very important goal because there are some people who are certified, but that's not they're not chasing a career. They're literally just trying to give back to the community and maybe, get paid a little bit. So that's the first question. Do you want a career or a hobby? And then the second question would be, do you want to get certified? Because technically you do not have to be certified to be a health coach. It's not accredited like being a registered nurse is. You don't have to sit for a board. You can, but it is not required. And then picking a program to go through. And there are many, many, many programs. Primal Health Coaching has a program that I went through. Kim has been through a few, I think, just because she likes to take courses, but she coached for years without a certification because she had a lot of experience with coaching in other genres. A lot of RNs come to health coaching and they like to have a certification because we're addicted to the letters behind our name.
How many letters can you get?
I have alphabet soup behind mine. It's lovely. I just want a name tag. It would go from here to here. I have so many letters now and 2 last names. So that's the one thing I would say is your first step, hobby or career. Do you want to be certified? And then finding the one that best suits your ethics and what you believe when it comes to nutrition, because there's lots of health coaching programs that push high carb, vegan, vegetarian, plant-based, whatever. Primal used to be very paleo in their curriculum, and now they've moved towards keto and carnivore more and more as it's become more popular, and it's very obvious that it is not a crazy thing. It's just eating real food. And then, whether or not you want to invest in that, because it's $4,000. Sometimes they run a Black Friday sale so you can see if they're running a sale, but that's the main thing. How much do you want to spend on this thing, especially if it's just going to be a hobby for you? So consider all of that and stay tuned, because Kim and myself are going to talk more about health coaching in 2025. We have a workshop coming up for health coaches that we're going to dive into finding your niche, finding your ideal client, basics of marketing,
how to be a business,
coaching skills, especially that first discovery call, and how to make that the most of your discovery call. So if you are a health coach and you're wanting to learn more about the things I just said, keep an eye on my channel and also Instagram and all the things, because we'll be talking more about that in the coming weeks. And yeah, okay, so Betsy says 50% off. I think she meant Primal, not PhD. We don't have a
Yeah, because
program.
we're in that Black Friday period, so it's
Yeah.
probably.
If you want to be PhD certified, stick around. That will be coming at some point, but we don't have that yet. So if you're like in a hurry, Primal is a very good program, and they should have a discount going on right now. Normally it's $4,000. So hopefully they've got some kind of a discount going on.
Right. And I have a little bit of a unique perspective, which is I think it can be really beneficial to start doing the kinds of things that you're going to need to do all the time, like posting on Instagram, picking a channel, like all the things. We'll be talking about all the things you got to do, but start acting as if, sort of like start doing the posting, talking to friends, talking online, and seeing if you like doing those kinds of things, talking about health topics, posting about them, even if you're not trying to get clients, being that person, because you're going to be doing that for the rest of your career. So before you jump in and join a program, it's even can be of benefit to try the identity on and see, do I like this life of researching health stuff and talking about, all those kinds of things, like looking at what do other health coaches do? Do I want to do those kinds of things? Let me try and do some of those things, and seeing if that appeals to you, because then you don't end up signing up for a program and coming out the other end and being like, oh, I don't like the job.
Yes. I forgot to say, we do have a Primal health coaching discount code. It's PhD Health. So if you miss the Black Friday, or you're like, I just don't have the money for that right now, and you decide later on, that discount code gets you $1,500 off. I don't think you can add that on to the Black Friday. I don't think they'll allow that. But if you tell them we sent you, then they might give you a little bit more of a discount, as we've sent a lot of people there. So they might work with you. And you can make payments also. They have a payment plan. Let's see. Ashley says, question, when do you know it's time to start charging for coaching? You should always have some kind of transaction, even if it's just $20, for multiple reasons. Because that makes it official. You need a contract to protect yourself. And because if you have skin in the game, you're going to listen to somebody. If you're just helping a friend out, they're probably not going to listen to you as much if you're just doing it. And if they have a little skin in the game, even like I said, if that's $20, that gives people pay to listen. They'll listen if they're paying. They're going to pay more attention when they pay money. So I would go ahead and start charging whatever you feel comfortable charging per phone call, Zoom call, whatever. And that's going to just set the tone for that. You want that person to get results. And most people are just like, how many people have signed up for a free webinar and never even attended the webinar?
Oh,
but if
gosh,
you're paying,
sure.
if you're paying $20, you're probably going to attend the webinar. Because even though it's $20 and it's not 2,000, you still put some money in the pot and you're going to pay more attention. So that's just my personal opinion. What do you say, Kim?
I say if you're not charging, you're not coaching yet. It's a talk, it's a chat, it's a practice, it's valuable. Family friends call me all the time and say like, "Hey, I'm thinking about I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that." And I'm like, "Great, let's schedule a chat." And they're like, "What do I owe you?" And I was like, "I'm not going to charge you because this isn't going to be coaching. We're just going to be two friends talking, but I'll share with you some of the stuff I know and can help you with." Because a coaching relationship is a defined relationship. It has boundaries, it has rules, it's a thing. And I want to protect that thing, that it's kind of a sacred thing. I mean, not to be too
Woo
precious
woo.
about it. Right. But it's a thing that is a specific thing. And if you or yeah, as Betsy said, cheerleading, you might cheerlead, but coaching is a defined relationship. It's like dating versus marriage, right?
Yeah.
They're different.
So most people, I don't know actually if you're a coach already or you're just thinking about it. Before you start a coaching relationship, you usually have what people call it a discovery call, and that's free. And what you do on that discovery call is not coaching. It's just figuring out like, what does this person want? What are their goals? And are you guys a good fit to talk to each other further? And then you set up the transaction. Like, here are my payment plans. Here's what I charge per Zoom call. Here's whatever. But that way you don't charge that person until you know for sure, like, if you can help them or not. And then you can, tell them your prices at the end of the call or whatever and set up those expectations. We're going to talk about that in the workshop and talk about a lot more too. So if you are a coach or you're wanting to be a coach, even if you're not a health coach yet, you could probably benefit from this workshop because it will set you up
For sure
to go down that road ahead, basically. All right. Dr. Barry's back in the house, so he's going to come in here rattling stuff around and making a noise and all that good stuff.
Ashley says she's certified but hasn't started organized coaching yet. And that's great. I mean, that's a great place. It sounds like you're having conversations and doing that kind of thing. I would actually jump in and start thinking of yourself as somebody that's doing some organized coaching. One-on-one coaching is very rewarding, and I find it great training for getting better at coaching, one client at a time. And you don't have to charge a lot to begin with, but you're setting up the parameters around what coaching looks like.
Yep, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with Kim and myself. If you liked this, got any value, hit the thumb, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you next time.